And by doing, quote, doing the Medjay one in a little bit, I mean like right away. Haha. So the Medjay one specializes in crowd control. It's actually, so it just Leroys into the enemy, deals damage to a single target, and then it stuns enemies within 16 meters for 3 seconds, and you can use finisher attacks on those. I'll demonstrate it with a Skajati. Uh, but it's actually pretty decent for this one, actually. It uses it fairly consistently, and most of the time, and regardless of the enemy faction you're facing, there will be some melee ones, and there will be some range ones that just group up. Very efficient to just stun all of them, even though it's for 3 seconds, which is the biggest drawback, and it charges. That's the other problem with it. It might not connect. If it targets an Osprey, there is, I've done it in the plains. I was trying to have it kill enemies on its own, and once an Osprey hit, Mutalist Osprey, it could miss, and that becomes a problem. And the infectious bite, most of the time you won't be seeing it working, simply because the target is more likely to just die from random AoE damage from other players or yourself, rather than actually finishing it. But I've seen the pustules. I've let it live, and it seems to detonate and do viral damage based on the damage you put into it. So I'm going to be experimenting with a Volcar Wraith and something that does less damage and that doesn't hit as hard, like a Zylok without any formas in it. I should probably take up the weapon mods too, but I'll just leave it as is. Oh, mind you, I believe Oberon also increases pet health as well as the damage. And he's grappled one. I didn't see the damage. I should probably not use a scoped weapon. That would be a good idea. Okay, infect someone else. It actually does pretty decent damage if it's against level 80 though. It grows and it seems to increase viral damage. And if you don't shoot it, it just doesn't really detonate, as far as I can tell. No, it does some damage. It seems to do more if you shoot at it, though. Here's the other problem. It can tackle someone, and then if you try and shoot at them, it just might not work, because he'll try and grapple onto him right away. So I think that's more of a issue with cooldowns, rather that they cool down eventually where they overlap. So he tackles this one and doesn't bite them. But sometimes they'll just tackle them and straight into a bite. Also, if you want to abuse the stun effect for the finisher, you're looking for a faster weapon. I chose a Skajati because the effect is very noticeable when you cloak after you activate the finisher. I think it does more damage if you charge up the spores. But I'm trying to think of a way to test it out. I think it's literally just going to be probably in the green room in the Captura, so I can slow down time to see the damage. But I think they have health bars turned off for that one. I think my best option is to figure out, probably to do video editing, slow it down. Hey! But that one seems to do a lot more damage than the other one. So, single target viral, a single target viral with self crowd control, and then it is just AoE crowd control It's okay. I would feel if of the three Predasites they would be using, the Medjay is your probably your go-to one as just a CC bot. I see how I do like it's infested, because infested runs at you. Let's go with some chargers. So since it charges, it could miss. But Grenier tends to be kind of slow. I think he just charged it. Oh, there it is. And grapple. What are you doing? They are infested and he's charging. Also, where did the rest of the infested go? There's only 4 left. They probably fell off the map. Oh, I can shoot at a spore after it's dead. Yeah, so Medjay, if you really want to run one of the Predasites, that should be your go-to one. If you are looking for like just like a damage boost, the Pharaoh one is decent because the 100% toxin damage. Oh, there's something I want to test with the Pharaoh one. I need to go back and fix that. Or rather, I'll just probably just do a new recording instead and just call it done. Because I'm lazy like that and don't want to do video editing. And I don't have a software, so I don't have the software for it. So yeah, Medjay, crowd control, decent. Weakness, if it tries to charge a flying enemy, or if the enemy is too they spread out too far. And the extra finisher attack that you can get from its spores, you're not very likely to be able to use it unless you're playing as a melee frame. But if you are playing as a melee frame, it might be a drawback instead, because now you have to go through the finisher animation, and that leaves you open to being attacked. I'm still unsure what to feel about Infectious Bite. Probably I won't be using it, because unless it's like really high level content. But if it's a really high level content, my dog is just going to Leroy into the enemy and then probably die after these spores stop taking effect. So it's questionable. It's definitely good for content. I'm just not entirely sure how well it can handle the higher end of like level 160. It should die pretty fast. I've done testing with the Panzer cat, well, fox, cat fox, same thing, because it's a fox that uses a cat skeleton. It even with my Oberon, it takes around 20 seconds for it to die when I'm healing it. But it's also being wailed on by like 4 to 5 Grenier Elite Lancers. So paralytics. So this one survivability should be better than the cats, but the cats have resurrection and just doesn't freaking die. Or rather, it dies and it comes back. So yeah, Paralytic Spores definitely a good one for it if you want to use one of the 2 augments. Infectious Bites, I need to check the wiki. I just don't really, or rather, I need to see more people doing testing, because I just don't really see a use for it. It just feels too weak compared to the other ones. So yeah, Medjay, decent. Pharaoh, decent. If you only use the spore augment. And then the last one, the Vizier, decent. Or rather, more niche, because it's for a frame that cannot heal through natural means, or you don't carry something that can heal. And the blind is okay. It's not very impressive. You probably won't be using the blind at all. You can keep it on. It'll just be there, but I just don't think it's gonna be very helpful in most cases. Yeah, in terms of ranking, it will probably be like Medjay for general use, Pharaoh for DPS supports, and Vizier is for niche use, not for general use. And then for the cats, well, I need to get the crescent and I need to make a slide and then get a crescent before I can go over those. But other than that, yeah, Medjay just kind of wins. It for the Predasites, it's the go-to one.